Hi there. Now we're entering to our second review. So I'm going to read now the introduction. We are now ready for another review. We will begin where our last review left off and cover 2 ideas each day. The earlier part of each day will be devoted to one of these ideas and the latter part of the day to the other. We will have one longer exercise period and frequent shorter ones in which we practice each of them. The longer practice periods will follow with this general form. Take about 15 minutes for each of them and begin by thinking about the ideas for the day and the comments that are included in this assignment. Devote some 3 to 4 minutes to reading them over slowly, several times if you wish, and then close your eyes and listen. Yes, we're being asked to listen to what arises. Repeat the first phase of the exercise period if you find your mind wandering, but try to spend the major part of the time listening quietly but attentively. There is a message waiting for you. Be confident that you will receive it. You know, this is so key. Your confidence is what guarantees that you will receive it, but be confident. Be confident that it will come. Just don't put a timeline, because the universe does not operate in time. It operates in now. And now for the universe may be tomorrow. For God, it may be 3 minutes from now. So now is always eternal, forever happening. So allow yourself to be confident so you'll be receiving it. Just don't set parameters for when it should happen. Remember that it belongs to you and that you want it. Of course, the answer belongs to us and we want it. Paragraph 4. Do not allow your intent to waver in the face of distracting thoughts. Realize that whatever form such thoughts may take, they have no meaning and no power. Replace them with your determination to succeed. Do not forget that your will has power over all fantasies and dreams. Trust it to see you through and carry you beyond them all. I am going to highlight this sentence because in here, we are being given one of the most important pieces of information that we need to hear to really understand what the Course in Miracles is. Yes, it's being said in many other places, but we have to highlight this every time we come upon it. So let me read this to you again. Do not forget, this is sentence 4 in paragraph 4. Do not forget that your will has power over all fantasies and dreams. Your will, your desire, your sincere desire to be done with fantasies and dreams and illusions and problems has power. But you have to have the willingness. You have to will with truth. You have to will to align your mind out of blocking truth and in alignment with what God knows to be the truth that is true always. So when God says that there's no problem, if you decide there is a problem, you have willed, you have used your power to put a wedge between you and God. You have created an obstacle, you have created a block. And guess what will happen? Because your will is so powerful, you're going to be creating fantasies and dreams. If you will against God and you say that there is a problem, by gosh, you will have a problem on your hands. It must be so because you're powerful. That is what our minds do. That's why we're training our mind and not our toes. Our minds have the power to shift from seeing with the ego to seeing with God, from fear to love. But if you don't understand that you are the one who has to use your will, use your mind, your willingness, willfully choose to think with God, you will be choosing fantasies and illusions and the dream of separation, and nothing can stop that because God has given you the power to choose against God, because God knows that you're inside of God. So God knows you're safe. When you have the death experience, you return back into your non-physical form, you're emerged back with God. God knows what you are eternally, infinitely, will not be affected. But your experience, while you believe you're separate, is what will suffer, is what will be uncomfortable. But you can, our minds are not powerful enough to undo what God did, but it's powerful enough to block ourselves. It's like putting earmuffs on. It's like, I'm not going to hear what God has to say. La, 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 la. That's all the ego does. But God is still saying what God is saying. God's truth are still God's truth. We're just not listening to it because we are willing to use the power of our mind to close off and create an illusion of fantasy in our mind. La, 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 la. I just created an illusion in my mind that I'm separate from God and I'm blocking God. All right, so I'm going to repeat that line one more time. Sentence 4, paragraph 4. Do not forget that your will has power over all fantasies and dreams. Trust it to see you through and carry you beyond them all. So you got to begin to believe that the truth is true that is being told to us, because until you believe that this is true, you will have no motivation, none whatsoever, to doubt what you think is your truth. Paragraph 5. Regard these practice periods as dedications to the way, the truth, and the life. So we are, these practices that are coming up are opportunities for us to get to will to go with God so that we can experience the truth, and the life, and find our way back into alignment with Source. Refuse to be sidetracked into detours, illusions, and thoughts of death. We have to have a willingness to refuse to listen to our ego. So yesterday I listened to my ego and I called Dan, or said I had to talk to him. But then when it was all over with, I refused to have my ego make a problem out of that. And I accepted that that was a release that was just necessary. And it happened because it's part of our journey. We're both healing different things, but we're both, you know what? We're not healing different things. We're healing the same thing, but it looks differently. And as it looks different, we're going to be doing our processes different, appear different. But I don't want to be sidetracked with detours. That's why my commitment to truth, my commitment to following what is said in this book has been consistent ever since I began to receive messages from Jesus and began to teach my workshop, because Jesus told me to do it. I didn't know anything about teaching workshops, but I was not going to put a block between what I was feeling in my heart was true and what the world was telling me. Oh, you've never done a workshop. Who do you think you are to do a workshop? I did it, and it's been part of my journey. So let's look at sentence number 3, paragraph 5. You are dedicated to salvation. The minute you make that decision, the way is made open for us. The helpers will show up. Be determined each day not to leave your function unfulfilled. Every day, fulfill your function to allow your will to align with the truth, so that you can see the truth that God has created as true always and available to you, to make your life be funner and easier. Paragraph 6, reaffirm your determination in the shorter practice periods as well, using the original form of the idea for general applications and more specific forms when needed. Some specific forms are included in the comments which follow the statement of the ideas. These, however, are merely suggestions. It is not the particular words you use that matter. So that is our review period, and we will move on to the next lesson. Thanks a bunch.